Welcome to the Mishawaka High School Football Coaches Show, presented to you by Southwestern Michigan College. I'm Daniel Phillips. This is Coach Kinder, and this is one of our many weeks of the Mishawaka High School Football Coaching Show. We're getting deeper into the season now in the second half. Coach, you guys defeated your opponent here last home game in Northridge. You guys beat the Raiders by a score of 27-7. How good did it feel to get another conference win out of the way?
It was good. It was a good night for us. Homecoming. We had a great crowd. I think that we played really efficiently. There wasn't a lot of big plays or wow moments, but just very efficient on both sides of the ball. Our defense got four fourth down stops. Our offense had really good drives, three really good long drives. So really pleased with the way we played and that we won the game.
The Snyder brothers kind of dominated the first half, each of them having a touchdown. Jackson, I believe, had one in the first and then landed in the second, both rushing touchdowns. The offense has been firing on all cylinders. Very efficient drives, stuff like that. Do you think that they're getting closer and closer in shape for tournament play to make a deep run?
Well, I think we're getting there. We had some silly things that we got to clean up. I don't think that we were as good on the offensive line as we can be. I think that we still have a tendency to get some silly penalties and play without discipline at times. And so those are the things that you want to see cleaned up as you go later in the season, so that you're not making mistakes, because at the end of the season, when the tournament gets here, every mistake is compounded and it can end your season, and you don't want to have those things that late. So those are things we got to focus on.
On the defensive side of the ball, you guys have been playing very well all year. Very well against Northridge as well this past week. Trey Dunning, Jackson Snyder had 64 total tackles this year. How proud are you of the defense, and what shape do you think they're in to make a deep run and contribute to the team during tournament play?
Well, I think, as of right now where we are, I think we're in a good spot. We still got a lot to get better at. We've got to improve in our play up front. We got to be more consistent in running to the ball on a consistent basis. I think sometimes we miss tackles because we're not wrapping up. But our defense has played well, and they got some big stops in crucial moments. The 4th and 1 stop right before halftime was really huge in a 14-0 game. And those are the kinds of things that we want to celebrate, but then we want to get back and watch and see all the mistakes that we made and try to correct them.
Coach, your team is going off to play another conference opponent, one of the bigger ones of the year, I would argue, in Warsaw. They just took on Plymouth in an overtime thriller. They're 3-3 on the season. It's a little different record compared to you guys, 3 losses as opposed to 1. But going and playing in a different environment is tough for every team, whether it be any level. How important is it to start off strong in this game between Warsaw and the Cavemen?
Well, it's going to be huge, and it's not fun playing a quality opponent after they've lost the previous 2 games in kind of a gut-wrenching fashion. They had chances to win both those games and didn't, and it's tough to play someone like that, because what energy and intensity they're going to bring this Friday to get off that to get rid of those feelings. So we're going to have to be ready at 7 o'clock. We can't wait until 7:15 to start playing good football. We got to be right out of the gates from the opening kickoff. We got to be playing really disciplined. We've got to be flying around with the ball. We've got to play angry. I know that they're going to be fired up. So it's a critical night for our program.
Coach, last week we talked about how we were entering the last half of the season. Now we're getting deeper and deeper into it. You got one final home game in Plymouth next week, closer and closer to tournament play. How important is it for your team to stay locked in for this last part of the season and make sure they don't lose sight of the final goal?
Well, I think that that's really important, and the way to stay locked in is to stress, getting better today and not worrying about today. We can't worry about what happens Friday, and we can't worry about what happens 4 weeks from now. We can't be thinking about those things right now. We have to focus on today, do the things that we need to get better at today, move on to the next day, and keep that kind of mindset. And then the rest of that stuff should take care of itself.
All right, thank you very much, Coach. This has been another episode of the Mishawaka High School Football Coaches Show, presented to you by Southwestern Michigan College.